JLP for Jamaica. Yeah. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah. I'm calling everyone who loves sweet Jamaica. Let's stand and show our national pride. Out of many one people, say so much love. Yeah, yet this government won't do what's right. Let's shine some light on this darkness. Our nation is God blessed. Together we'll make it right. Come on and do your part. Vote for the best. Vote for Jamaica Labour Party. Straight from your heart. Vote for a change. Let's go to a future of prosperity with JLP. Here comes a leader with a new direction. Yeah, a new Jamaica, empowering Jamaicans. We will succeed if we work hand in hand with Andrew Hollis, uniting this nation. Let us take back our country, move into prosperity, give children a better life. Come on and do your part. Vote for the best. Vote for Jamaica Labour Party. Straight from your heart. Vote for a change. Let's go to a future of prosperity with JLP.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Dorlan H. Francis show on the Jam Talk Radio Network. This evening, the focus will be on the Jamaica Labour Party. Yesterday, the party celebrated its 73rd anniversary. And the show this evening will be dedicated to the party. We will look back at its accomplishments. I will take a look at some of the shortcomings too. But of course, there are few. And we'll be looking at the accomplishments. I'll compare their performance with that of the People's National Party. So that people can know how Jamaica was built and by whom. I'd like to thank you for joining. My name is Dorlan H. Francis, and the H is important because I do have a son with my other name. It's Dorlan Francis. Dorlan. Other name Francis. So the H is the distinguishing factor. So that's the daddy, right? So that's why I use that name. I'd like to thank you for joining, and I have a very interesting program lined up for you this afternoon. And I will be taking you back in time and telling you things you probably might not have known about the Jamaica Labour Party. Full disclosure, most people know that I'm a Labourite. Very proud Labourite. But not because I'm a Labourite don't mean that I can be objective and speak frankly about the party that I support and criticize the party I oppose. As a Labourite, I was the president of the youth Young Jamaica in 1990, and I've represented the party at local government elections. In 1986, I represent the party in the Washington Gardens division. And for those of you who don't know, the Washington Gardens division includes Seaview Gardens and Waterhouse. So that is where Dorlan cut is made in politics. And also Riverton City. Those areas were included in Washington Gardens. So as rough as they come, but the people there are as nice as they come, you know. And when they are with you, they are with you. They are with you, and they're very easy to work with. So I represent the party there. And in 1990, I represented the party in the Greendale division of St. Catherine. At that time, it was East Central St. Catherine. I think the configuration has given it a new name now. But I work with the late Ruby Walcott, who was the JLP caretaker candidate in that constituency, representing the Greendale division. There I met some very wonderful people also, and I got very strong support from that community in a losing cause, nonetheless. But you know, the support was strong, very strong. So that's just to let you know who I am. Full disclosure, I'm a party man. I'm a member of the Labour Party too. You don't run for the party unless you're a member. So I'm a member also. But that doesn't mean you can't talk about the party in a fair and frank way, and I intend to do just that. In addition, I am a chartered life underwriter, certified financial planner, and I'm an author. I've written 2 books and working on 2 others. I've written a life insurance book entitled Life Insurance, the Cause of Economic Prosperity. And I've written a stroke economic book dealing with the financial crisis of 2007. You know, I was able to point out what caused it and what people could do to avoid a repeat of that. Right? And of course, I'm a political junkie. I have run political campaigns in Canada, in Jamaica, and I've assisted in other countries. So I have a very broad knowledge of international politics, and a very keen follower of politics. So this evening I'll share some of my knowledge of the JLP with you as they celebrate 73 years of building Jamaica. As usual, I will start with the current affairs, and in the current affairs this evening, I will touch a little on some of the political developments in the country during the past week. The big thing was the presentation by the Security Minister, the Honorable Robert Montague, and what I find interesting was the critique of the presentation of the minister by the former minister, Honorable Peter Bunting, because he was there, and you know, he was there for 4 years, and I can recall him presenting a plan to fight crime all the time he was there. But now he's coming to lament the fact that Bobby Montague did not present a plan to fight crime. Right? Here's the story. You cannot present a plan to the country about how you're going to fight crime. People don't debate security procedures. You don't discuss what you're gonna do when it comes to security. You just have to do it. Yeah, there might be need for the element of surprise. When you come and discuss your plan, where would the element of surprise go? Through the window. So those are not something you come with and talk. And I think the current minister Montague spoke about as much as he could have made known, right? And some of the things that we need to look at is the proposal about the change in the bail act. The change in the bail act. I think that is something that we need to do. And the bleeding hearts are there talking about treading on human rights. I think a few are bleeding hearts, really bleeding hearts, and they genuinely have that kind of concern. But most of those are hypocrites. Most of the people who are criticizing are hypocrites. Most of the lawyers who are talking in their self-interest. You understand? I'm talking about treading on people for human rights. Then what if the minister declared a state of emergency? It is in his power and the government's power to do that. So what if they declare a state of emergency and then start detaining people indefinitely, as it is in their power to do? What would they then say and do? Would they talk about trampling human rights? Would they talk about things being unconstitutional? It is within the constitution for them to do that. So, what I find happening in Jamaica, and more often nowadays than not, is that people just talk to say something. They don't talk because they have something to say. And they just criticize. A lot of these people are PNP surrogates. And they just criticize. Just like when Norman Mandela lost the first election, they say he was gonna organize and oppose. And some people just oppose. It's in their DNA just to oppose. And they're doing just that. Because I don't see nothing wrong with them with people who have committed one murder already. You get bail, and when you come for the second bail here, you say no more bail. When I was a boy growing up, you don't get bail. Anybody charged for murder, we know them gone for good. Because usually, then, the police didn't charge people in those days unless they have the evidence. And usually the evidence was ironclad. And you're charged for murder, you don't get bail. And you put on trial, oftentimes convicted, and you go away to prison. In time gone by, there was hanging. And then later on it became life sentence. But the life meant life. Nowadays we have this bail and life. It's like 25 years and all that kind of thing. Right? But to come talk about trampling on human rights, it's ridiculous. One man, according to the minister, 134 people are on their second murder. Murder? You're talking about murder being committed by people who were bail. Right? So like they're charged for one murder, got bail and went out and committed a murder. 134 people like that. That's a lot of people. And something has to be done about it. Right? So I think he's presenting cogent arguments. He's being very differential and respectful of the views of the broad masses. But he seemed to be firm in his position, and that's nice to know, right? Because you have a lot of people who are there criticizing and opposing, and they're only doing criticizing and opposing because they want the government to fail. It's not because they feel the policy is bad. They just don't want the government to embark on a policy that might get result. That is what they fear. Success. These people fear success, so they oppose, right? But one or the two of the bleeding I might genuinely have some concern. But where's the concern for the people who are being slaughtered in the country? Where's the concern? We need to do something for that. And the denial of bail is least of the problem. Denial of bail. Yeah, it's not like you're gonna, you lock the other guy and say you're not giving them a hearing for how many years. You're just denying them bail. And I would imagine they would bring those cases speedily to trial. And then the accused party, can then present his or her case. Right? But I believe that once you commit a murder, you don't get no more bail, man. You should not have gotten bail in the first place. Because these bails should be only granted to special circumstances. More likely when people commit manslaughter. Some two people get caught up in an altercation and one somebody die. That is most like manslaughter or second or third degree murder. Those are what bail should be available for. But yeah, man gonna take gun and plan and go out and go shoot up all a party, killing multiple murders, committing multiple murders. You talk about bail for? Bail for who? For those? Those people have forfeit their right. So I'm pleased with that. Yeah, I'm also pleased with this proposal that the security budget should be secret. Of course, the security budget should be secret. The people should not know when there is strength, and likewise they should not know when there is weakness in the budget, right? Because it's not unreasonable to believe that the criminals figure that because the country is going through such tough economic times, they figure they probably couldn't have a budget that can come and challenge them. So they feel they could do as they please, right? And with the reallocation of resources that seem to be taking place, all right, and the drawing of funding from other ministries, I don't think they need to telegraph this. Nobody need to know. And I think those are good moves. And the most we can do is give the minister time and see the result he gets. Alright? I don't think the government is doing anything that is trampling on the fundamental rights of people. I mean, because when you're accused for your second murder, man, my God, how much more rights you want, so? Huh? And you have about one man committing 6 murders, and that man still might get bail? That's a joke. Other countries, in Muslim country, man, people don't thief. You know why they don't thief? They lose their hand. Talk about fundamental rights. Not only their liberty, they're not only losing their liberty, they're losing their limbs. Right? So we still have a far way to go to reach that. But something has to be done about these wanton murders. Yeah, I'm pleased that this week seemed to be a cooling off. But you never know, things might flare up again. Because when you have to use overwhelming security presence to contain problems, that you have a problem. You have a problem, and the country, Jamaica, has a problem. Because Jamaica crime situation was nurtured and mollycoddled by the People's National Party. And we have reached where we reach. It took us decades to reach where we reach. And it's not going to be fixed in months. Right? So I go say kudos to the minister, and I hope he has nerves of steel, and I hope he's determined with his proposal. Don't be persuaded easily by bleeding hearts or by people who just want to talk to say something. If you're going to be persuaded, be persuaded by reasoned arguments. I'd also like to take note of the fact that the tourist sector is reporting a 13% growth in stopover visitors for the month of July. 13% growth. That is phenomenal growth. Phenomenal growth. And those are the kind of visitors that will add more value. The stopover visitors are the ones who spend the money, spend more money in the country, right? So that's fine. Well, cruise ship is welcome, and it's, you know, it's always good to have growth in whatever area. You know, cruise ship visitors basically are paying whistle stops. You know, they just come in the morning and they leave by the afternoon. They might visit a few sites, you know, spend a few dollars with ground transport personnel, operators, and buy a few, you know, buy a few pieces of craft. But it is a stopover visitors who stay in the hotel, who provide employment for the hotel workers, and who really spend the real money. So when you have growth here, you know you can have a corresponding growth in the earnings from tourism. So that is very good news, and I have no doubt that this is as a direct result of the tireless effort of the Minister of Tourism, Mr. Tourism, Headman Bartlett. Because when all is said and done, when it comes to tourism, nobody know tourism like Ed, right? And many initiatives toward the growth and the improvement of tourism has all been successful. There is taking the industry where it needs to go. So I'd like to say congratulations to Minister Bartlett, and keep up the good works. The country is counting on you. The government is counting on you. The party is counting on you. So keep up the good works, Mr. Bartlett. I also like to take note of some disagreement that arise between Minister Warmington and Minister Mike Henry during the course of the week. I am very pleased with the way Minister Warmington has handled it. You know, just like the man I know he is. He made a mistake, him say make a mistake, and that's it. You know, clearly it's the intention to change the lane. It's clearly under discussion, but it is not yet the decision is not yet taken. It's under discussion, not yet taken, and Minister Warmington misspoke when he said it was going to be done immediately. And so I suppose Mike Henry was forced to add some clarity to the whole matter. And of course, you know, the naysayers look for the slightest discord to jump on. And I'm pleased the way Warmington dealt with it. And just put it to rest. He misspoke. And it's not a big issue. It's not a big thing. The South Coast Highway, I know the naysayers are trying to embellish that and make it look like, oh, the government doesn't know what it is doing, you know, and that kind of thing. Because, like I've always said, you know, they are the midget, the 4'9" midget, who look at the 5'10" man and laugh. Oh no, he's not 6 feet. You know, it's 5'10" and he's not 6 feet. So because of that, you know, this 4'9" midget can criticize and go on. And he's just 4'9". And that is how the PNP and the surrogates and the naysayers operate. Like that 4'9" midget. The slightest little thing they jump on it and they try to embellish it. Right? And the South Coast Highway, because Minister Warmington mentioned that the scope of work has expanded. You know, they're coming to make it look like, oh, confusion and government don't know what it is. Look, man, it's a work in progress. When you have a work in progress, you have variation. You understand? Nothing wrong with that. Work vary from time to time. I remember the North Coast Highway, when PJ was building it, when them accept the South Korean bid, the ridiculous South Korean bid, I'm sure their technical advisor must have told them that the highway could not be built for what the South Koreans had bid on it. And because that is not what they budgeted for the highway. But they must feel they have a sucker to work over. So they accept the bid. Nonsense. If I am giving out a bid and my technical people tell me so the thing costs $10, a guy bid $7 to do it, I'm not going to get it. I'm going to do it for 70% of what the value is. Right? The bid going to be between people who bid in between $8-9 and people who can show the technical expertise, show the people that they can complete the task. Just go, go award it to the cheapest person. Right? And that's what they did with it. Award it to South Korea. They couldn't do the work. And then there was a lot of variation. One of the variation with that highway was that instead of having 2 inches of asphalt, which is international standard, it was agreed to have it at 3/4 inches, 3/4 inches of asphalt. And a lot of those highway with have some like a dead spot in it because the asphalt was not properly mixed. A lot of sections of that road have parts that are as smooth as glass because the asphalt was not properly mixed, and because of that the coefficient of friction that is necessary for the asphalt road is not there, or it's very low. Right? Every road engineer know that you have to factor in the coefficient of friction so that you have traction on the road and people don't have to skid out of control, sometimes without even the rain falling. And those were missing from those roads that was varied. And instead of having 2 inches of asphalt, ending up with 3/4 inch. Right? So when you're working on a project and it is in the proposal stage and you're getting variation, what's the big thing? What's the big thing? And what Minister Warmington announced was improvement on what was previously announced. So what you quarreling that for? But no, these midgets are looking for, oh, this man is not 6 feet. They don't look for the slightest indication that, no, this is not a 6-foot man. They must go to 5'10". Right? Forgetting that they are 4'9". So I'm very pleased that the people are not falling for these sideshows. Because you can see that the PNP and their surrogates is doing their level best to find something that will distract. They don't want people to focus on the prosperity that is being delivered. So they're looking for distraction. They're looking for sideshow. So any little conflicting statement, any little variation in plans is viewed as some big stuff. Big things, and you must be concerned about these things, right? But I don't think they're really getting through to people. When you read the newspapers, you read Facebook, and you see the comments, you realize that we have a new breed of people who are very discerning, very critical, and quite fair. Quite fair. I read some of the comments on the Peter Bunting comment on the critiquing the security minister's presentation, and the comments were running like about 4-1 in criticizing Peter Bunting, exposing his hypocrisy, and that was very heartening. Very heartening. Also, Minister Warmington mentioned that the Kingston to Spanish Town highway will get 2 more lanes. That was the original intent. When Shira conceived that highway was supposed to have 6 lanes from the 1960s when it was conceived. But of course, the PNP in their opposition mode opposed it, criticized it. I remember listening to Michael Manley talking about how can they be building highways when country road not paved. You understand? But that is how they have always operated. Oppose, distract, and see now, the highway is well needed. We should be moving from 6 to 8 lanes now, because I'm not even sure that getting 2 more lanes will really ease the congestion that is clearly evident on that highway. But all in all, it's an improvement. That's a road that was built by the Jamaica Labour Party. Should have been raised 2 feet above floodplain. When the PNP won in 72, they had to finish a little section of it, and they did not raise that section of 2 feet. They built it at the floodplain, and that's why a certain section of the road floods so easy as the Korean fall, right? And it was Eddie Siaga who had to come back in 1980 to repave that road. Now most roads will last 10 years, right? So you lay down a road, you expect to resurface it within 10 years, because just wear and tear, the asphalt will wear down. And then you'll find that potholes will emerge in the road quite easily because the asphalt has worn down, right? And you will need repaving within 10 years. And the highway was built in 1972, finished in 1972. And it was Eddie Siaga who had to come back and repave it. I remember I got a loan from a bank in Kuwait to repave it. Right? And now it is fall on the lot of another JLP government to come expand and upgrade the Kingston to Spanish Town highway. So all the good highways that Jamaica people can drive freely on was built by the JLP. The toll roads are the contribution of the People's National Party to Jamaica, right? The toll roads. So, all in all, that was mainly the current affairs for this week. There was some shooting in the States. I'll just make mention of it. That I don't want to comment on it because the way I feel about it, my comment might not go down too well. But it's about time the tyrants in America stop killing black people. That's all I'll say on that. It's about time. It's time black people stand up for themselves. They need to stand up. I'm going to take a break, and when I come back, I will be speaking about the Jamaica Labour Party and its contribution to the development of Jamaica.
Come on, yeah. I'm calling everyone who loves sweet Jamaica. Let's stand and show our national pride. Jamaica Labour Party, straight from your heart. Vote for a change. Let's go to a future of prosperity with JLP. Here comes a leader with a new direction. Yeah, a new Jamaica, empowering Jamaicans. We will succeed if we work hand in hand with and do honest, uniting this nation. Let us take back our country, move into prosperity, give children a better life. Come on and do your part. Vote for the best. Vote for Jamaica Labour Party, straight from your heart. Vote for a change. Let's go to a future of prosperity with JLP. Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica. All the youths them meeting and over. The middle-aged man and the elders. Come on and vote for your conscious leader. And to a listening ex-prime minister, representing the hope of Jamaica. So when the bell ring, come dip your finger. Let JLP brighten your future. Rescue our country from leaders so greedy. JLP will bring the change. Come on and do your part. Vote for the best. Vote for Jamaica Labour Party, straight from your heart. Vote for a change. Let's go to a future of prosperity with JLP.
Welcome back. You're tuned to the Dorlan H. Francis show on the Jam Talk Radio Network. This evening we will be speaking about the Jamaica Labour Party as they are celebrating their 73rd anniversary. Yesterday they celebrated their 73rd anniversary. Now, the Jamaica Labour Party was founded on the 8th of July 1943, and it was founded by the Labour leader of the day, William Alexander Clark Bustamante. Bustamante was the leader of the BITU, and that is where it was through trade unionism that he was making his name. That is where the rubber hit the road during that time, because people were still being used like slaves, and they needed a champion to stand for them. And they found that champion in Alexander Bustamante. The People's National Party was formed in, I think it was September 1938. And Bustamante was a member of the People's National Party. But he was not comfortable with the socialist leaning of the People's National Party. Busta was a man who believed in free enterprise. And he was not comfortable being in a socialist party. So now at that time, with the start of the Second World War, England was anxious to change the arrangement in its colonies. It wanted to give its colonies more autonomy, right? And they were there negotiating independence or some other arrangement without direct dependence on England. And Buster wanted to be at that table, and he thought that he would better his seat would be more secured if he was there as a political leader rather than a trade union leader. And so he decided to form the JLP, right? Apart from the fact that he did not like the socialist tendencies of the People's National Party. So on the 8th of July 1943, the Jamaica Labour Party was formed. Right? The party leadership was comprised mostly of people who were in the trade union. So you had people like Isaac Barrant, who was a union man. Let me. You had let me give you some. You had man like Newland. Yeah, the party was formed mostly by union people, and of course they were readily criticized for that. You know, they were jeered, as a matter of fact, because you're talking about union people are working class people, and the PNP, which was a snobbish, elitist party, you know, they thought that the leadership of the JLP should be subject to ridicule, and they made no bones about that. They laugh at them, man. They laugh at them. But Buster was a wily politician, and Buster was the one who had the last laugh, because he had people like Isaac Barrant. Now, Isaac Barrant was a sideman on a truck. He wasn't even the truck driver. He was a sideman on a truck. But he had to adopt that station in life, not because he never have sense. It was because he did not have other opportunity. You know, his father had died young. I think his mother had died young too, when he was young too, and he had to fend for himself. But he was a smart man. And then in the election, he went and ran in Eastern St. Thomas, and he won that in a very commanding way, right? Buster also had people like Leopold Lynch. Now, Leopold Lynch was a tailor from Portland, and he rode a bicycle, right? But he won Portland, and he had man like Reed George Henry, who ran in Western St. Catherine, right? He was a small farmer. He ran against Teacher Lawson, B.T. Lawson, primary school teacher, but Reed George Henry beat him because these people were representing the common man. Right? So that was the formative year of the JLP. It was formed with mostly union people, and in the first election in December 1944, the JLP won that. They won 22 out of 32 seats, getting 41.4% of the popular vote. 41.4%. Now, in that election, there was a number of other parties, and there were a lot of independents. So 41% of the popular vote was very high. The PNP then had 23.5% of the popular vote. So 41% was quite good. I'm gonna come back to this because this is something that I've always wondered about it. The JLP has never been able to really have a commanding following of the population, And when you look at the accomplishments of the party, you wonder why. You wonder why the Jamaica people have been so unkind to the JLP, really. Right? Okay, so the JLP won in 1944, 22 of 32 seats, and formed the government at that time. And during that time, their greatest accomplishment then was with the building of the gully system in Kingston and St. Andrew. Because there was a time when as little rain fall, there are lots of Jamaicans used to lose lives. Like you see, like nowadays when we have hurricane, had it not been for the gully system, you see we have hurricane and you hear we're losing 1 and 2 lives, it probably would be in the hundreds if those gullies were not there. But if those gullies were not there, we could not. The Kingston could not have been developed along the lines it has, right? Because the Ligani Plain flood easily, and without the water properly channeled, people could build, but it wouldn't stand. The water would destroy what is built, right? And I speak about this because it speaks to the kind of party the JLP is. The JLP know that when you're building, you build from foundation. You understand? You build from foundation. So putting in the gully system and controlling the flood water is one of the is common sense stuff. Common sense, because if without harnessing the flood waters and having them under control, you could, whatever you build, it wouldn't stand otherwise. You build roads, it would be destroyed. You build buildings, it would be destroyed. So they went ahead and built the gully system. And when you drive through Kingston and St. Andrew and look at those gullies, sandy gully system, yes, you can see how those gullies were built. The quality of the work, to the point where it only now they are crumbling, because those systems supposed to last for 40 years, Most building, 50 years, right? And they were built from in the 1940s, right? So they're down overdue and they were not properly maintained. Because during all the time when the PNP was there and they should be maintaining the foundation of the gully, as soon as you have like a hole, like a the form of like a pothole, say you got to fix it, because the flood waters will undermine that and undermine the foundation and cause collapse. And some of the walls that have collapsed is because of poor maintenance, and those poor maintenance because of the long length of time that the PNP there and neglecting those works, right? So the PNP, the JLP started with that, the gully system. And during the first 5 year, the first term, the other accomplishment was the building of primary schools. During that time, about 80 primary schools were built. Because before that, Jamaica children used to go to church school. It's only the school that the church is built, right? Or go under mango tree for learning. And Buster will be able to build primary schools and take the poor people kids from on the mango tree and put them in building. And also in that first 10 years term, the university hospital was built, the university was built, and there was plan made for the acquisition of the College of Arts, Science and Technology, which has now become UTech. Right. Um, During that first term, Mona Dam was built. Right. And a number of other institutions were established, like the tourist board was established. The National Water Authority was established. Um, so um, a lot of things that Jamaicans take for granted, a lot of the things was built by the Jamaica Labour Party, was started by the Jamaica Labour Party, right? You might have some one or two things come when the PNP assume power, they change the name because that is what they are good for, changing the name. You know, so like how they say I come with heart and say set up Heart Trust, and they come and call it Heart NTA, National Trading Center, right? That is how they do things, right? Just like how the JLP came with JDIP, right? Jamaica Infrastructure Development Program. You know, they come and they abandon that anchor and come with my dip. You know, but most of the things that we take for granted was built by the Jamaica Labour Party. Some of the things they did was to set up the Jamaica Industrial Development Corporation, the JIDC. And one of the things that corporation pioneered was the building of industrial estates. So like Tinspen Industrial Estate run by Ashenine Road there, right? That was built by JLP, where you have a lot of factories, home electrics, Colgate Palmolive was down there. I think that is closed now, and I think separated in that vicinity also. But that section that was the first industrial estate, Tinspen, built by the Jamaica Labour Party. Then there was Nanspen. Nanspen now is across from where Rianeville warehouse, right? I remember when I was a boy, holiday luggage used to around there. They used to make luggage compete with any international luggage. And if we had continued, we could be in the luggage manufacturing business. I don't know if we still make luggage in Jamaica, right? And there was a number of other factories that was in the Nanspen area that was built by JLP, that was conceived by JLP coming through JIDC. You know, fortunately we were blessed with a man like Robert Lightburn, who was an industrialist, a visionary industrialist, right? And also Twickenham Park Industrial Estate, where you have thermoplastic and Berwick factory, among other factories. That was built by the JLP, where the cigarette company is there, right? Industrial Estate. And Bogue Industrial Estate. It was built by the JLP, right? So industrial estate, the building of factories. And there was also along out by Bull Bay there, Albion. There were some factories out there, right? Like Bernard brought that, these things in his constituency, because there was a guy who ran Western St. Thomas. And an industrial park was built out there too. About electrical parts was manufactured, PVC pipe was manufactured out there, and electrical parts, all the little things that you need to to wire a house, all the little parts are made out there, right? And I think all of those factories are closed now. But those were the things. Those were built by JLP, right? The schools built by JLP. 80 in the first 10 years And then when they came back between 62 and 72, 126, right? And then on top of that, they built 59 secondary schools. So when it comes to school, most of these were built by the JLP, right? Tourism, JLP is the one who introduced tourism to Jamaica, right? And some of the biggest hotels were built under the JLP in the early years. So the Jamaica people have a lot to be thankful for. The Labour Party has done a lot for Jamaica. Most of the institutions that we have was created was created under JLP government. Institution like Festival, Heritage Week, having national heroes, the emblem, the flag, the national anthem, and all those symbols. Those were created by the JLP because JLP led the country after independence, right? Some of the other accomplishments of the JLP was this establishment of the Urban Development Corporation, UDC, right? Now UDC built Ochi. Ochi was a little fishing village, where you used to see two canoe park up. And now it is a tourist mecca, right? And that was conceived and developed by the Urban Development Corporation that Edisiaga built, established. Right? I had a hotel down there like Mallards Beat Hyatt. I don't know what it's called now, but it was one of those Turtle Towers built by UDC, right? Built by Labour. Right? Montego Bay redevelopment was done by UDC. And downtown Kingston, the Kingston waterfront, was done by UDC. Now when you go downtown and look at Kingston again, every one of those high-rise, every single one of those high-rise was built when a Jamaica Labour Party government was in office. Right? All the skyline building them down there, those were built, right? And started before and finished by about 72, 73. And not another one was built until recently when Bruce got Digicel to go build it headquarters down there, right? And this is bearing in mind that the People's National Party was in power for 18 and a half years. Okay? Well, 18 and a half years in the last part here, but prior to that, you had Michael who was there for 8 years. Right? From 72 to 80. 8 years, he did nothing. And then the PNP came for 18 and a half years. And they did not build on what was started. They did very little. Right? So, all in all, the Jamaica Labour Party has served Jamaica well. I don't know what Jamaica would be without the JLP. And I don't say it flippantly. I say it in all honesty. Right? Where is the PNP equivalent of the industrial parks that was built by the JLP? The Tinspen Industrial Park, the Nanspen Industrial Park, the Twickenham Park Industrial Park, the Bogue Industrial Park. Where is the equivalent to that? When Shearer was there, over 240 factories became operational. And all that happened is that when the PNP take over, them implement policies that force the closures of those factories. That's all they did. Right? When it comes to water, The country needs about 200 million gallons of water per day. 200 million gallons of water. And it's easier for me to say what the PNP did, because they did, according to the Water Commission website, and the time when these systems were built, they built, I was able to count 12.5 million gallons. The system they built delivered 12.5 million gallons. So let us be generous and give them 20 million gallons. That's what the PNP do. They built water systems in Jamaica that deliver about 20 million gallons of water. The country needs 200 million gallons. And the JLP built most of the remainder. The 180 million gallons were mostly built by JLP. There might be a little shortfall, because I don't think the country is currently getting 200 million gallons per day, although that is what is needed. I think they are more like at about 180 million gallons per day. So the PNP built system that deliver 220 million gallons per day, and the JLP built system that deliver about 160 million gallons, right? Then the famous ones were Tullow Spring, which delivered 12.5 million gallons, and the Yalas pipeline, which deliver 23 million, right? So right there, so you're looking at 30, nearly 40 million gallons. When you come and look at Martha Bray, most of those systems were built by the JLP, right? You look at Mandeville water system. The Mandeville Water Authority was built by the Siaga. The Jamaica people should really take stock and really ask themselves, what would Jamaica have been if we did not have the JLP? What would Jamaica have been if Buster did not found that party and attract men of the caliber of a Lightburn, of a Shearer, of a Sangster, Siaga, a Bruce Golden, and now Michael Walnes? Right? What would we have been? Because as you can see, the People's National Party, like a typical African party. You ever see how them man in Africa operate? After 30 years the country, instead of going forward, they go backward. I remember Zaire. I always look at Zaire, because Zaire was one of the more progressive African country when under colonialism, you know. When Britain left Zaire, Zaire, which is now Congo, had a beautiful rail system. They had a hospital, which was one of the better hospitals in Africa, and outside of South America. Outside of South Africa, right? And Mobutu Sese Seko took over Zaire, and he was in power for 30 years. And when Sese Seko left, when he died leaving 4 billion in France and Chateau on the French Riviera, right? But there was no hospital anymore. People were doing surgery on the trees, right? And that is how it is in most African countries. And the PNP bring that kind of culture to Jamaica. The Africanization of Jamaica, right? And what they do, instead of building on what they see, they plunder what them come see. They plunder it. And all they can do is set up, is come up with some scheme as to how to plunder, right? The first thing that happened, you know, when the People's National Party took over in 1972, Eddie Siaga left a reserve of 132 million US dollars there, right? And the first thing Michael came in was this thing called crash program. Because in his mind, people were just starving, no work out there. Even though JLP built every single industrial estate that employ thousands of people, right? Every single one of the industrial estates were built by the JLP. The Tinson Pen, the Nance-Pen, the Twickenham Park, the Bourg, all these factories. When Shearer left, his 240 factories were operational in Jamaica. 240 factories were operational. But Michael come and, oh, yeah, the sky was falling. Nobody, it's like Jamaicans were starving. Then come with this crash program. And guess what? The plan was to give 20,000 people work. But every week 77,000 checks were drawn. Right? Every week 77,000 checks were drawn. Although I was trying to employ 20,000 people. And that is how they do things. Right? That is how they do things. And within a year, Michael Manley depleted the resources that were there. Within a year. Because a lot of people don't know it, but Michael went to the IMF and Jamaica got an IMF agreement. The first one that was really used, because when Jamaica became independent in 62, they got the IMF agreement, a standby agreement for 63. Right? And not a cent was touched out of that. Because that was just a safety net, just in case there was headwinds after the independence. They had that as a safeguard. And not a cent was touched, and the standby agreement expired without being used. And the first time Jamaica used money from them, it was in June 1973. So Michael was sworn into office in March 72. And by June 1973, Jamaica was having a standby agreement with the IMF. I think it was for 23 million special drawing rights, and half of it was used before it expired. Half of it. So that's from when we were using IMF money, right? And one of the reasons why we needed IMF money was because Michael come in and provide, was giving this relief employment. You mean to employ 20,000 people, but checks for 77,000 checks were drawn every week. And that is how PNP do things. They plunder just like the people in with African brothers who suffer the big corruption all the time, and why the country can't get anywhere. That is that is how that is what they emulate, right? PNP contribution. And so under Michael, we had the IMF, and of course IMF started us to devalue our money, and our dollar, which was stronger than the US dollar. The Jamaica dollar was strong like the Cayman dollar. Because Jamaica and Cayman was like sister countries, Cayman was run by the governor from Jamaica. So Cayman was administered from Jamaica when during the colonial period. And our currency were similar. The strength of our currency were similar. So Jamaica dollar should now be as strong as the Cayman dollar if we had maintained things like we were. But no, Michael Cayman them start the things, right? Because he has to do things to curry favor. Right? And it's on him, the squatting came into being. You see all the problem in the West now. The informal settlements. in the West where that cannot be properly policed, is him allow those things to fester, to explode. You know, I witnessed it personally. The foot of Warwick Isle, I used to live in Rockfort. Norman Garden was a middle class community. Norman Gardens. Yeah, people live in Norman Gardens, you know, felt proud. You know, Beaumont Garden was a seaside community. Upscale. But Michael came around there as the MP and he just allowed the squatting. Warwick Isle, the man them just come in and overrun Warwick Isle. And then everybody had to pack up and run. You see. From Norman Gardens and where I used to live round in Rockfort there. Right? And we roll around here, ghettoized, but of course, you know, it's a PNP garrison now. So that is how they do things. That is how they do things. You understand? That is their contribution to Jamaica. The garrisonization of Jamaica. The ghettoization of it. Right? So it worked for them from a political level. You know, earlier I mentioned that the JLP, with all its accomplishment, in 94 it got 41.4% of the popular vote. In 49 it got 42.7%. In 55 it got 39. In 59 it got 43.3. 44.3. In 62 it got 50% of the popular vote. In 62, and it won 26 of 45 seats then. In 62. And in 67 it got 50.7% of the popular vote and won 33 of 53 seats then, right? Now in 72 it got 43.4%, in 76 it got 43.2%, and it's only in 1980 it really got a good support. It got 58.3% and 51 out of 60 seats, right? In 89 it got 42.9%, and in 93 it got 39.1%, one of the biggest beating it has ever received, getting only 8 seats out of 60. In 97 it got 38.6%, in 2002 it got 46.9%, and in 2007 it got 50%. So the Jamaica Labour Party, it only in 67 it got over 50%, and about 50.7%. And in 1980 it got 58.3%. Right? I really think the Jamaica people have not treated the JLP fairly. If they were fairer to the JLP, I'm sure our prosperity would have been greater today. But the people in their wisdom vote for who they want. You understand? And that is it. Now compare the support of the PNP. Look at the kind of support the PNP get. Alright, in 44 they got 23.5% of the popular vote and 5 seats out of 32. Right? It was the Norman man that said he was gonna organize and oppose. And then they oppose everything. That became their way of doing things. There's very little there hardly any policy that is proposed by a JLP government that the PNP can applaud and support. Hardly any. You know, they went into this mantra where they were going to oppose, and they were going to organize. And I can tell you their organization has paid off. They know to organize. The PNP can organize. They organize at this primary level and they organize at the secondary level, and that is why they're so hard to beat. But because they can win election, they don't feel that they have to perform as government. Understand? So in 49, they got 43.5% of the vote. Then come 55. And as a matter of fact, when they got 43.5% of the vote, they won the popular vote that year. Because from the second election, they were getting more of the popular vote than the JLP. So although the JLP lost the popular vote, they won the seat count. Right? They got the PNP got 13 seats out of 32, so the JLP had the rest 17, I think it was. Yeah, because there was two independent. In 55, the PNP got 50.5. Come 59, they got 54.8. In 62, they got 43.5, and in 67, they got 49.1. But in 72, Michael was winning with 56.4% of the popular vote. In 76, he got 56.8, although that's the starting. That was state of emergency, bogus election. But nevertheless, the record shows it's 56.8%, right? In 80, they got 41.1. And in 89, they got 56.6. In 93, they got 60% of the popular vote. In 97, they got 56.2. In 2002, they got 52.1%, right? And in 2011, they got 53. So that's the kind of support they have been getting. And what has the PNP done for Jamaica? With all that support. And one of the reasons they get such good support is because they're well organized, but they're corrupt. Right? They're corrupt. And the people who support the People's National Party do it for the largest they can get. They do it for the largest, and they don't care if the PNP build anything in Jamaica. Right? And when you look at the thing they could say PNP bill is they bill about, I would say maybe, I wouldn't even give them 30% of the school structure in Jamaica. Maybe more like 25% of the school. They bill it. The housing trusts, they at one time, because they ran out, the housing developers, all the building of house was entirely up to the government, so they had to do all the house building. But of course, they build very slipshod houses. So and their house don't, you're not the caliber like when JLP building house. You look at the house that the JLP built, like Ensom City, Independence City, UN Queensboro, Helsham. You look at apartments like Maryfield, Oxford Manor, Worthington Towers, Courtly Towers. Those are first world. You look at Gallery Apartment. And those built between the 1960s and early 70s. Those are first world like building. We were building then. We never have this big squatting problem, because the truth of the matter is that all the needs of the country was being met. The housing need of the country was being met is after Michael came to power, drive out the housing developers, and then there was this gap. Right? For a while there was nobody building house, and then only the government was able to build, and they could only build within their limited resources. Because like upon you from 73 they had to turn to the IMF. Right? So that is how that is where the housing shortage emerged. And then we start have housing problems. And then we had squatting at unprecedented level. And because the PNP don't want to disrupt their voter base, they don't prevent this kind of behavior. They turn a blind eye to it. All right. So, with all this popular support, I'd say they build about 25% of the school. How much hospital do you think they build? Hmm? The PNP did not build one original hospital in Jamaica. Not a single one. Right, they expanded on the Mandeville Hospital, and they expanded on the Maple Hospital. But the Maple Hospital was basically built by the JLP and funded by the JLP, right? And all the other hospitals in Jamaica was either built by the colonial powers or the Jamaica Labour Party, right? Some of the hospital the Labour Party built was Cornwall Regional Hospital, Savlamar Hospital, Maple Hospital, like I mentioned. It was the JLP who built the Spanish Town Hospital, and the Princess Margaret Hospital in St. Thomas was built by JLP. JLP, the hospital that was there was destroyed in 51 storm, and the JLP built it, and by Manley, within 1955, he was able to go open it. Right, 2 months into office, he was able to go open it. But the hospital was essentially built by the JLP. So when it comes to hospitals, it's JLP built it. Right. So when you add it all up, my listeners, when you add it all up, had it not been for had it not been for the JLP, just pick an African country. Maybe even Haiti. I don't think Jamaica would be much better than Haiti, frankly. I don't think Jamaica would have been much better than Haiti. But let's not compare to Haiti because of the slave revolt there, and they were there for so long. Let's look at the African country that was colonized by the British, right? With the British system, the British way of doing things, and handing over to the locals to run and develop. Take from here and move on. And compare. And Jamaica will be comparable to some Kenya maybe, or the Congo. Just compare with some of the British colonies from Africa. And that is how it would be. That is how it would be. Right? Because the People's National Party would Africanize Jamaica. You understand? And key to the Africanization is this steepness of corruption that they subscribe to. Just like how most African country is steep in corruption. And there's no two way about it. Corruption causes poverty. You understand? Corruption causes poverty. And that is what the People's National Party is very good at. Corruption. Right? And they have built very little for the country. Very little. They built very little water system, very little school. They built no hospitals. And most of the other infrastructure is built by the JLP. They don't even maintain things like the road network that was built by the JLP and left. Right? The road they build is when foreign investors come to build roads and charge us toll to use it. I don't know if you can, if that is something for anybody can crow about. If that is something you take credit for. Right? So my listeners, give thanks. Give thanks for the JLP. Give thanks for a man named William Alexander Clark Bustamante. Give thanks for his vision of forming the BITU and then being smart enough to disassociate himself from the People's National Party when he found out that that party was a socialist party. The Labour Party is a liberal, progressive party. The Labour Party is a party that came out of the bowels of Labour. So it will never turn its back on the working class people in Jamaica. Never. It came out of the bowels of Labour. But the Labour Party understand that you have to be fair to capital. If man with money don't feel so them can make a fair return on their money, they're not going to invest. And if man don't invest, workers will have nothing to do. So when you hear people they use propaganda and talk about the JLPs for the rich people, there's no truth to that. There's no truth. Well, maybe in a way, yes. Because it is for all Jamaica. The JLP understand that without the rich people, the poor can't get better. Right? So they give the rich man a fair shake. So that the rich man can provide the opportunity that workers can use to better their lives. Right? And that is what the JLP has been about. So when they were, I see they coming now like they want to own social programs and they like want to own anything that look out for working people. Nonsense. The Jamaica Labour Party was the party of the working class. It was the party that run Isaac Barrant, Leopold Lynch, Mr. Rose in St. Catherine, and Reed George Henry in West St. Catherine, right? These are all very poor people. Poor. I mean, to the point where the party was ridiculed. You understand? Because the PNP was the aristocratic party, the party of the professionals. That is how it was formed. So, the party was always, it came from poor people, and it has always been for poor people. It's just that the Jamaica Labour Party understand what it takes to develop country. It understand how country should be developed. And you cannot develop country by alienating capital. So because of that, they put systems in place that give the owners of capital a fair shake. And it is by so doing that they have been able to make the kind of contribution that they have made to the development of Jamaica. So let us give thanks for the party. 73 years ongoing. Let's hope they will do another 73 more. I won't be around for all of that, but I hope to be around for as long as possible. And I hope they'll continue to go from strength to strength. And I'm appealing to my listeners and the Jamaican people. Be fair to yourself and be fair to the party that has done the most for Jamaica, land we love. I thank you for tuning in and I thank you for listening. And as usual, please listen, like, and share. And discuss the program amongst friends so that the Jamaican people will be, become very well informed on matters of politics. Thank you all for joining. Have a good evening.